You smell what I smell? That's some pure bullshit.
What's up, motivators? Welcome back. It's Kevin. This is Pure Bullfit. Today is July 6th, Monday, International Bench Press Day for so many people out there. So I thought I would bring you some information that could help you possibly get a bigger, better, stronger bench. Now, from the very beginning when I started making videos, most of them, if not all of them, were roast videos. I was calling out the bullshit I see in the industry. And a lot of the feedback that I got initially was, hey, we'd like to see who you do recommend, who you do believe in, who you do support. So I started making videos about those as well. And I plan to continue to do that, but today I thought I'd do a little bit of both. I thought I'd point out a bad source of information that may accidentally have some good advice, if poorly demonstrated, and something that has actually helped me. A product review on the Xtreme sleeves from Mark Smelly Bell, possibly the best sleeves that I've ever purchased. Little spoiler for the information there. Now, for transparency, getting right into it, I purchased these myself out of my own money. I do not have a relationship with Mark Bell. He did not ask me to do this. I have not been paid to do this. This is an honest review on some sleeves. I'm a big fan of Lift Unlimited Stoic sleeves. I've been using those and knee sleeves for about 2 years now exclusively. I think they're every bit as good as everything else on the market until these came out. Now, if you like what you see and you're interested in buying them, I'm going to put a link below towards where you can purchase them. There is no affiliate code, there's no discount code. Like I said, I don't have a relationship with Mark Bell. In fact, the only communication that we've ever had is shortly after I made a video about his carnivore diet series where I brought up some concerns about the way he was presenting information. He was kind enough to hit me up on Instagram, talk to me directly, and then take some of that advice and implement it in future videos. We haven't talked since then. We haven't developed a relationship or anything. They just make really good products over there, and this is probably the best one yet, in my opinion. We're going to talk about these sleeves first, and then we're going to talk about Dr. Jim Stoppani and biacromial distance and how it can be used to find the best bench width for you, and my problems with the way that he presents it. As you guys know, I'm not a huge fan of Dr. Jim Stoppani. I think if you've got a degree, you spend all of that money, all that time learning, your focus should be giving people good information, not leveraging your title to make as much money as possible and capitalize on people's naivete or their ignorance. And I feel like that's what he's doing, claiming to be able to cure restless leg syndrome with zinc and magnesium, being able to add 30 pounds of muscle on his 12-week beginner program, and a bunch of other shit that he says that's just, it's just nonsense. He's not a great source of information, and I'll get into why. But we'll talk a little bit about biacromial distance, how it can be used to find the best width for you to bench, and whether or not I recommend it for everybody or if this is just a starting point.
Are you extreme? Do you consider yourself extremely aesthetic? Do you like things that are extremely well made, extremely stiff, strong, tough protection that's extremely hard to get on? Like, seriously, this thing is so hard to get on. I mean, 2 hands was not enough. Look at me, I've got my foot jacked up. Hell, 3 hands wasn't enough. I got 3 hands and a damn leg, for Christ's sake. Why are these things so hard to get on? I mean, if we're not careful, pure wifey's gonna burst a blood vessel. Oh, screw it, I'm never gonna get these things on. Let's just cancel the... Oh. Friggin' mint.
Okay guys, let's talk about why I think these are so great. First and foremost, they provide more support than any other sleeve I've ever used, and I think that comes from the strong canvas-like fabric on the backside over the elbow, and the stretchiness comes from the softer fabric on the inside, allowing you to get the damn thing on at all. Now what I've found from using this product is that I am in considerably less pain in my elbow after bench pressing, something I've been dealing with for years and years after every session. It's only been about a week of using them, but I'm not in any elbow pain at all, despite the fact that I've been lifting consistently heavy. As you see here, I'm benching 410 pounds, which, if you're following us on Instagram or Facebook or any of our other community areas, you know that I did a week or 2 ago using the Stoic sleeves. Here, I've got 420 pounds loaded on the bar, which is the most I've ever had on the bar, my highest successful rep. But just a few days ago, this is why I don't think that there's a huge strength difference. Just a few days ago, I hit 410 raw, pause. And as we know, a pause rep is more difficult than a standard touch and go rep, so I think it's fair to say that I might have had 420 pounds in the tank raw.
And there you have it. Easily the best elbow sleeves I've ever owned. If for nothing more than they reduced my elbow pain to almost nothing. And in these last few sessions to absolutely nothing. And that is the biggest gain for me. I don't even care if they are advertised so that you'll be able to put more weight on the bar. I don't think, as I showed you before, that that's necessarily true. It's not true for me. It may not be true for everybody, but I don't even care about that. Just being able to recover faster will allow me to train bench more frequently, and that will result in a bigger bench down the road. So moving on from these Xtreme sleeves to biacromial distance and using that to determine the very best, safest bench press for you. I came across this TikTok video. I've been on TikTok lately. I've got some content on there. I'm kind of expanding into it, seeing if it's worth it. But I ran across one of Jim Stoppani's damn videos. And in it, in 30 seconds, he goes, well, maybe I think it's 54 seconds. He goes over very quickly and very inadequately how to use biacromial distance, the distance between the bony portions on your shoulders, how to use that to find the best grip. Now, it appears that there is legitimate research that went into whether or not biacromial distance can be utilized to determine an effective grip width. I've got some of it here on the screen, but having read through it, I don't really feel that it ascertains whether or not it is statistically significantly safer to use this method in order to find your grip width. It can be used to help you put more weight on the bar so that you can progressively overload and push harder, and it doesn't limit it to a 1.5 or 150% multiplier. It actually goes all the way up to 200%, demonstrating that you can get 7 to 10% more weight on the bar if you use up to 200% of this figure. Now, the way that you would use it is you take your biacromial distance and you multiply it by, as Dr. Stoppani says, 1.5 in his video. Then you're going to take that number and you're going to cut it in half, measuring from the center point of your bar. You're going to go all the way out and determine what your grip should be. Now, not only does this unmitigated asshat completely abandon this measurement as soon as he touches the bar, he adopts this grip, which I'll call the false grip, but it is usually known as this right here. Don't want to say it, don't want to get demonetized. And it is absolutely not safe. So making a video in the interest of a safe grip in order to bench, adopting an unsafe grip in order to conduct the bench is patently stupid. Bad advice. And this is the kind of crap that drives me nuts about Dr. Jim Stoppani. This is why other people like Alan Roberts call him just Jim, because that PhD might as well be bullshit piled high and deep. So we're going to take a moment to unscrew this particular pooch and tell you how to use biacromial distance in order to determine perhaps an effective grip width for you on the bench press. The first thing that you got to do is you have to take your biacromial distance. As seen here on the video, my wife did this for me, it's about 16 inches. You're going to take that number, you're going to multiply it by 1.5. Then you're going to take that number and cut it in half. Starting at the center of your bar, you're going to take that halved measurement and you're going to go all the way out and determine where the inside index of your finger should line up. Now, I would go ahead and I would mark this with a marker until you get used to it, until you see where that should be in relation to the knurling ring, wherever it may be on your bar. These are not standard on a lot of bars. They're very similar, but they do change position depending on what kind of bar you have. So I would go ahead and mark that on the bar and then find out if that grip is actually comfortable, feels stable for you. One of the most important ways to determine if it is a safe position for you to bench is whether or not your forearm is perpendicular from the side and to the front at the bottom position of the bench press. Now, that may result in your arms being slightly wider out at the top of the press, but at the bottom where your shoulder is most vulnerable, your forearm being perpendicular can help you produce force in the safest manner possible. Your shoulder is not overworking, trying to stabilize a weight because it is leaning too far back, too far forward, a bad pressing angle. If by chance biacromial distance helps you find that forearm position in relation to the bottom position of your bench, yes, I believe it can be a tool to help you find a safer position to bench. But there's not a lot of specific information on it. And that's where we get led astray by people like Jim Stoppani, who create content simply to be confused, use their title in order to convince you that they have substantive things to say, and then capitalize on that faith and goodwill by convincing you to buy their products. Look, if you're gonna sell something, it should be on the merit of its efficacy. It shouldn't be spending the goodwill of supposedly putting out solid information that, in this case, done the way that he demonstrates, could actually be less safe than just going at it willy-nilly. So, can using biochromial method actually help you improve the bench press? Yeah, sure, but it's going to require some experimentation. You have to take into account that our individual morphology, the differences in our bodies from person to person, are going to determine what techniques are helpful for us. Using a calorie calculator isn't a hard, fast, set in stone way of determining what your total energy expenditure for a day is going to be. It gives you a ballpark figure that you're going to have to experiment with to find out what your specific expenditure compared to your intake is. You're gonna have to put in the work, and it's the same thing with the bench press, guys. I benched with a little closer grip than is suggested by biochromial distance for a long time, and I had a lot of success with it. I benched up to 405. Recently, by moving my fingers out 1 finger length, I've discovered that I can bench press even more, and that tip didn't come from biochromial distance research. That came from Bryce over at Calgary Barbell. He took one look at my bench press and he said, "Hey dude, have you tried this?" I took his tips and immediately my pause bench went from 380 or 385 all the way up to 410. I stopped bleeding that power because I found the advantageous position for me. It requires experimentation. It requires the expertise of people who know what the hell they're talking about. Not just some guy who took the summary of a damn research paper, decided to put his own spin on it, and then abandon it as soon as he starts demonstrating it to you. So, is biochromial distance something you can use in order to determine the best bench width for you? Maybe. Should you be going to Dr. Jim Stoppani for this information? Hell no.
Hell no, to the no, no, no. Hell to the no, hell to the no, to the no, 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 no.
Alright guys, that's it. That's the video for today. If you liked it, let me know by smashing that like button. If you didn't, they got a button for that too. Either way, let me know in the comment section below. If you're looking for 10, 12, 16-week free programs, no signups, no credit cards, no strings, no nothing, there is a Google Drive in the description box below. Check it out. Those are free to you because the mission here remains helping people live better quality, longer lives. And that's just some of the resources I put out to help you do it. They got recipes in there, I've got different programs, and I've got some basic 101 nutritional information to help you get started on your journey. We got some exciting things coming up, some collaborations, some new ventures, expanding into new territories, and I'm really excited to share it with you all. As soon as we got the details, I'll hammer it out. So until I see you guys in the next video, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and go fit yourself.